So, I mean, he's just going to try to throw his name and face on everything he possibly can before he dies.
Okay,
I mean, that's all about his legacy, trying to put his name out there and try to make sure you remember when you open your wallet or your passport, Donald Trump had something to do with it, and you owe him.
Tonight, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is defending this possible new $250 bill with Donald Trump's face on it, all to commemorate America's 250th birthday.
I don't think that there's anything untoward about having the President of the United States, the person who was President of the United States, on the 250th anniversary bill.
It is against federal law, though, to put a living person on U.S. currency. Bessent says the Treasury Department is just preparing the design and waiting for Congress to act. Republican Congressman Joe Wilson actually proposed legislation last year to bring this about. Everyone is here with me. Jamal.
Yeah.
So Bessent did, to his credit, he did acknowledge, he's like, they're only going to do it. He acknowledges it's illegal. They will only do it if Congress acts. But when he says there's nothing untoward about it, what do you think about it?
Well, there's nothing else for them to do, right? No other issues happening in the country. They ought to just spend some legislative time doing this. Listen, the American people are in the middle of a great price hike that's been happening. Gas prices are taking over everyone's wallet. And now here we are going to put the president's face on a bill. It just seems like we ought to be focused on other things right now, not that.
I mean, one thing, I just, like, what does it cost? It costs money to make money. Like, it costs something to do this. And like, that is going to be a true conversation. But it's also, Gretchen, it's not just one banknote. Like, it's not just one, like, commemorative thing. I mean, the list, let me begin. It's the State Department issuing passports for people in D.C. with Trump's face. Oh, yeah. There's the commemorative coin, of course, which they're now pushing for to be as large as possible. And the National Park Pass, which will now feature Donald Trump and George Washington, and the Arch and the Kennedy Center. I mean, what do you do with this?
Well, we know this about Trump. I mean, all you have to do is go down New York City streets and see Trump on every single building until people started wanting to take down the name. So this is his ego speaking, and it just happens to be that he's president on the 250th anniversary, so it's perfect timing for him. Did you know, however, though, that it supposedly takes 10 years to design and develop bills like this for security purposes? Because you know, with counterfeit and all that, you know how they hold them up to the light and try and figure out if they're real or not. So I'm not even so sure if Congress would actually say yes to this, which I don't think they will.
That's red tape. We're breaking through it.
So we're going to get the 250th anniversary bill in 2036. And by the way, can we put it up again for a minute? I would think Trump would be very upset with his hair.
Why?
Look at his hair.
I think there's just good volume.
Well, no, it's usually perfectly coiffed, like over here. So if anything, I would think he would not choose this photo.
It's a word that in the biz I actually typically hate, but this one it actually applies. Like, do optics matter here?
Yes, I'm in no position to talk about hair, but I will tell you that it looks really menacing. It looks really mean.
Which I'm sure he loves.
We call it like the grumpy 250. I mean, it's also deeply inappropriate, unacceptable, and I would argue un-American. I mean, this is not what we do in America. That's what they do in North Korea. That's what they do in Russia. And I don't think it's going to do well with most Americans. But he doesn't seem to be too concerned about popularity lately. I mean, knocking down the White House, putting up the Arch, I mean, the war in Iran, he is all gas, no brakes, and he doesn't care about public opinion. And this is just the latest example.
I do wonder what that conversation is in Congress when they come back, right? Because you do have, like, there is hesitancy on this stuff amongst Republicans on a bipartisan way. Like Joe Wilson, he's been pushing it since last year for sure. But I don't know. Is this a change in law that these lawmakers really want to be making right now?
Yeah, look, it's the Queen of England is on the money, right, in Great Britain. This is not something that we do. And most Americans are scrambling and scratching to get $250 together to do anything right now. And so the idea that we're going to have one bill that's going to have that note, it seems extravagant at a time where people are really trying to figure out how to just put food on the table and take care of their families. It's not for most of us.
You know, I think when this idea probably came up, I can just envision like a secretary meeting that Trump has with his cabinet members. Yeah. And you know how they're fawning over him. We were just talking about this behind the scenes, but probably somebody thought of this to earn good, a good deed from Trump, and it was like, hey, you should be on the $250 bill. And it's probably how this all started. And I really don't think the president thought about the fact that Congress would have to approve this. And now you get to a point where he's angering Republicans that he has ousted. So you have Tillis, who's retiring. You have Cassidy, who's not going to be in the Senate anymore. You have Cornyn. They're not going to vote for this.
John Cornyn's like, this is the hill I'm going to die on, people.
They are not going to vote for
this.
He
doesn't care what they say on Iran. I don't think he's going to care what they say about, this. I mean,
that is the truth.
He also doesn't care if things are illegal, if wars are illegal, if they're authorized by Congress. So, he's just going to try to throw his name and face on everything he possibly can before he dies.
Okay,
that's all about his legacy, trying to put his name out there and try to make sure you remember when you open your wallet or your passport, Donald Trump had something to do with it, and you owe him.
And what this looks like when Donald Trump is out of office, like it is.
Well, it makes you wonder if they've got interest in a memorabilia company, because a lot of this stuff will be limited edition because
I just love it.
It's something leaves on.
I'm loving it.
It also away.
It looks counterfeit. Like, it looks counterfeit.
Maybe that's a good thing. Like, maybe it's good if it's a commemorative banknote.
It's not going to help our economy. It's like, what's the latest thing he can do to screw up the economy? This would be it.
He would
Flood
actually
the market with
have
counterfeit bills.
But he would actually. There's a reason why presidents of long ago are on our money. It's because we think back to times when we remember how our country started and things that they did along the way. You would think that Trump would want his name and face on something later on, if in fact that was going to be some sort of a positive legacy, that you wouldn't have to force it upon people while you're actually in office. And that's why you have the law that you can't be on currency when you're actually alive.
And maybe they just
come full circle.
Then we come full circle. Okay, let's have, want to talk basketball?
Yeah.
Let's talk basketball.
Sure. Okay. Absolutely.
New York City Mayor Mamdani was asked if he thinks that Donald Trump could be a bad luck charm if he comes to a Knicks game as they are now entering in the finals. In case you didn't know, listen to this.
I'm not going to do any analysis of the president's fandom. I will say that anyone who wants to come and watch the Knicks and pray that Landry keeps making those threes and we see Captain Clutch out there on the court, I think everybody should be welcome there.
I mean, kumbaya. Are you the biggest Knicks fan at the table? Maybe?
I don't know. I am
my son.
I am a Knicks fan. Been my whole life, and I would ask: can all politicians stay away from the Knicks right now? We don't need any jinxes. It's been a long time, and I would like it if Mamdani and Trump, the two most polarizing figures in all of America, would stay away from Madison Square Garden, stay away from the Knicks. Not to mention the security.
I was going to say their security.
It's already hard enough to get into Madison Square Garden.
Their security is going to take up way too many seats. That's all I'm saying.
The Knicks have enough bad luck charms of their own, right? It's been decades of basketball fans having to live through the Knicks getting right at the verge of being able to get a championship.
Do you think
the cost of a ticket?
I know, but Gretchen, do you think he's going to be able to resist? Of course, Trump's going to show up. If I had to guess,
maybe. I think it's interesting that Mamdani was not, more negative about it. But remember, they have a bromance going on. Yeah. They actually couldn't be more disparate as far as their political views.
But Trump will also get booed at Madison Square Garden. I mean, he usually sets up environments where he gets praised at a UFC event. When he went to Yankee Stadium, it was on 9/11, so he ensured that he wouldn't get booed. Yeah. If he goes to Madison Square Garden, he's going to hear some boos. So will Mamdani, but Trump will probably hear more.
He loves that. All of you rich folks buying $125,000 tickets, you can boo me. I'm an everyman band. I'm just playing. Tonight, I'm playing the role of Donald Trump. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Exactly. I know I looked before. It's good to see you. Alfred.
He tells me the left and right are dreams for those without a clue. And when you wake, it's time to grow. And it's not cool to believe in school, but if I can say one thing, I've seen the children of the revolution and the good trouble they can bring. He says the red and blue are dead and independent is an attitude. An island in the sea of rhetoric and I could rather go. He tells me the left and right are dreams for those without a clue. And when you wake, it's time to grow.
Powered by Righteous Media.